All right, everyone. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is saying that the U.S. will impose the strongest sanctions in history against the Iranian leadership. Pompeo laying out the U.S. strategy for Iran now that the president pulled out of the 2015 nuclear deal. He's saying that relief from sanctions will only come when Washington actually sees tangible shifts in Iran's behavior.
The sting of sanctions will be painful if the regime does not change its course from the unacceptable and unproductive path it has chosen to one that rejoins the League of Nations. These will indeed end up being the strongest sanctions in history when we are complete. We're open to new steps with not only our allies and partners, but with Iran as well, but only if Iran is willing to make major changes. As President Trump said 2 weeks ago, he is ready, willing, and able to negotiate a new deal. But the deal is not the objective. Our goal is to protect the American people.
His Iranian counterpart tweeting just moments ago in response, U.S. diplomacy's sham is merely a regression to old habits, imprisoned by delusions and failed policies, dictated by corrupt special interest. It repeats the same wrong choices and will thus reap the same ill rewards. Iran, meanwhile, is working with partners for post-U.S. solutions. Joining me right now, former Florida Congressman Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Colonel, good to have you here.
Good to be with you.
It's kind of a rather aggressive statement from the Iranians. I mean, look, I think Pompeo left the door open, just as the president did. But there's an expectation that they need to not be a security threat in the region. And currently, we haven't been satisfied that they're not, nor has Israel. So where do we go now?
You know, Trish, Mike Pompeo made the great case, and he talked about all the things that Iran has been doing under the JCPOA, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, such as support to the Houthi rebels who are firing ballistic missiles into Riyadh airport there in Saudi Arabia. He talked about their expansion into Syria and how they are helping and assisting Hezbollah and propping up the Bashar al-Assad regime, as well as deploying their Quds Force, which is a designated terrorist organization. So they have not lived up to the spirit of this agreement. As well, this agreement did not end their nuclear program. It just delayed an eventuality, their breakout time, for some 10 to 15 years. So we have not seen any compliant behavior from Iran, and the statement from their foreign minister, that's just absolute blather.
So where does this go? I mean, you look at all those European countries that are doing business with Iran. I can't imagine they're going to be able to continue doing business with us if they're doing business with the Iranians, if we're going to hold the world to these sanctions, sir. So with that in mind, are we able, even if it's somewhat inadvertently, to inflict a certain amount of pressure on Iran right now, economically?
Well, you know, Mike Pompeo was the top of his class at West Point, and one of the things that they teach professional military officers are the 4 elements of national power. It's called the DIME theory: diplomatic, informational, military, and economic. And what you see happening is we're using our diplomatic and economic pressure against Iran, and also we're going to use that diplomatic pressure with those European countries, such as England, France, and Germany. They have to ask themselves very simply, are they willing to prop up the #1 state sponsor of Islamic terrorism in the world, especially when they are seeing themselves be the victims of the exact same Islamic terrorism. So I think that if we present it to them that right way, and to include a company like Boeing, which is going to be selling aircraft to Iran, which they are using to transport the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps and also the Quds Brigade, the Quds Force, which are terrorist organizations.
It gets us back to globalism again, and not everything is hunky-dory when it comes to globalism. And your first allegiance should be to your country before your customer. So for a company like Boeing, they're going to have to, they say they're going to be fine, but you have to consider all of these things, and I think it's going to have some pretty big international effects. When it's all said and done, Colonel, does it get us what we want?
I think it does get us what we want.
A more muted
and what
Iran.
we want. Well, we do want a more muted Iran, and I think that you see the unrest that is happening inside Iran because the billions of dollars that we sent to Iran is not being used for the betterment of the quality of life of the Iranian citizens. They're just using it to export more of their terrorism and to be more of a regional, hegemonic, dominant power. And so I think that now we're putting the pressure on the mullahs, which is something that we had prior to the JCPOA, and for whatever reason, the Obama administration lifted those sanctions and allowed them to continue to survive and to proliferate their tyranny.
Colonel West, it's awfully good to have you here. Thank you.